Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Chair, first I want to commend you and all of the finance members and others that worked on this. It has been a long time and a lot of hard work. I watched what happened, and I have never seen a group of people work as hard to put it together as what I've seen come out of this. And I commend you for it. And I thank you for the times that I came to you. I'm not on the Finance Committee, but I had questions here and there, and I thank you very much. When I came to you, we had a very good discussion on it, and you answered my questions the best you could at the time as it was developing, and I thank you for that. But as we move into this, my feeling on this is a conservative budget is not just defined solely by the amount being spent, but also about where and on what the money is being spent and the revenue source. And I share Senator Burton's concerns. I was one of those who was very concerned about the use of the rainy day fund. But we've made a good effort in this bill to fund some things that are very important, like mental health and CPS, and I really commend the committee for that, because those are vitally needed things. And we've increased funding for institutes of higher education, many of which have huge endowment funds that could by themselves fund a small government, yet we continue to fund them. We also continue to fund corporate welfare programs that are not core functions of government. And it appears that the enterprise fund gets about $86 million. And the question is, giving the hard-earned taxpayer money to major corporations like Apple and Toyota really more important than ensuring a handful of small school districts that depend on ASETAR to be given alternate funding to prevent their closing? Or in the video arena, the moving image industry, for which both the House and the Senate lowered the funding, but it ended up at $22 million. And this money has been used in the past to fund video games, commercials, and some really bad movies. What business do we have spending taxpayer money to make commercials for Walmart, violent video games, and movies like Machete and Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Does that really take precedence over fully funding important tasks like untested rape kits, Senator Garcia, Senator Huffman? And I suppose that the new Create Jobs and Promote Texas strategy is ensuring that the major events funds and similar perks are awarded through $317 million appropriated for that strategy. But is giving $25 million of hard-earned taxpayer money to the wealthy owner of Formula One racing really more important than funding the trauma care system so we can stop making criminals of our citizens who cannot afford the harsh penalties of our driver's responsibility program, Senator Miles? And meanwhile, our state hospitals, which don't have well-funded lobby to do their bidding, receive only $300 million for emergency repairs and develop a plan to do something in the future. I mean, Terrell State Hospital, over 100 years old, like many others, hasn't had much repair in years. Mental health patients don't have the luxury of high-paid lobbyists, but mental health patients don't need a plan, they need a bed when they're in a crisis. I think you would agree, Senator Schwartner. And we're tapping the ESF to the tune of almost $1 billion, $990 million. $300 million of that's going to the state hospitals, but it's not enough to fix the problem. So what are we going to do next session? $110 million is going for disaster grants. And I don't see disasters as a one-time event. We have tornadoes, droughts, and hurricanes every year. And we're using $75 million for the Alamo. Now, no one appreciates the historic value of the Alamo more than I do. But is this really an emergency? Is this grant more important than restoring Medicaid therapy for cuts to our state's disabled and most vulnerable children? And then we got others of one-time grants to local entities that I could not find the details on. Now, again, I do truly appreciate the efforts by the Finance Committee. Madam Chair, your job is not an easy one, but you have done yeoman work in this, and your exceptional good leadership is well recognized. This budget does, in total, toe the line on inflation, population plus inflation growth, and that is good. I have been, and I am and have been and will continue to oppose the use of ESF funds for anything other than what it was originally intended, true emergencies. The Texas economy is good. We don't have a revenue problem in Texas. We do have a spending problem. In my opinion, we have more than enough revenue to fund the core functions of our state government without taking funds from the ESF. We can and should meet the true needs of Texas without using the ESF money. I've discussed this with you and many other members. I plan to address this issue, and hopefully we can do this in this next session. I hope that we can look at a serious approach to where we cap and seal the ESF so that we can put an end to this continual rating and get a new revenue flow. Again, I thank you and all of the Finance Committee members for all of their hard work. And because the total spending is below the population plus inflation, I can consider this, with what I said, to be a good conservative budget. And I'm truly will be happy to vote for this. And thank you very much for your work.